we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. These powerful words, penned by Thomas Jefferson, echo through the corridors of history, shaping the ideals of freedom and democracy. But what happens when the man behind these immortal words is himself deeply entangled in a system of oppression? This is the paradox of Thomas Jefferson, a figure revered as a champion of liberty, yet burdened by the contradictions of owning slaves. In this exploration, we delve into the complexities of his life, unraveling the man behind the paradox to uncover tensions at the heart of early American democracy. Thomas Jefferson's brilliance is undeniable. A gifted writer, a skilled politician, and a visionary leader, he continues to stand as a central figure in American history. As the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson eloquently articulated the core principles of democracy: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are words that have stirred revolutions, inspired reforms, and galvanized movements for justice globally. In his public service, Jefferson achieved monumental feats. As the third president of the United States, he oversaw the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the young nation and expanded the possibilities for its future. His philosophical inquiries into government systems helped lay the intellectual foundation of Republican governance, and his dedication to education led to the establishment of the University of Virginia, an enduring testament to his ideals. And yet, alongside these achievements lies an inescapable truth. Jefferson, the man who proclaimed that all men are created equal, lived a life at odds with these very principles. He owned hundreds of enslaved individuals, relying on their forced labor to sustain his estates, including Monticello. This fundamental contradiction casts a long shadow over his legacy. How could Jefferson, the eloquent advocate for human rights, reconcile his ideals with his actions? Was he a hypocrite, deliberately ignoring the pain and suffering wrought by slavery? Or was Jefferson, like many of his contemporaries, a product of his time, bound by the prevailing societal and economic structures that upheld slavery as a keystone of Southern life? This central conflict raises profound questions, not only about Jefferson's character, but also about the foundations of American democracy itself. The United States was birthed as a nation of revolutionary ideals, yet its economy and culture were deeply rooted in the institution of slavery. In Jefferson, this paradox becomes acutely personal. His life serves as a mirror, reflecting the moral contradictions of an emerging democracy built on both the promises of liberty and the exploitation of human bondage. Slaves tending fields at Monticello interspersed with Jefferson's written manuscripts on liberty. Jefferson expressed discomfort with slavery. He documented his concerns about its corrosive effects on both enslaved people and slaveholders. He proposed gradual emancipation models and decried the inhumanity of the system in his writings. And yet, he failed to act decisively against it. Most of the enslaved individuals under his control lived and died in bondage, with only a few granted freedom in his will. Is this inaction indicative of a man constrained by practical realities? Or was it emblematic of a deeper failure to live up to his own ideals? Jefferson's views on slavery were formed by a lifetime of conflict and contradiction. Born into a wealthy plantation-owning family in Virginia, he inherited land, status, and enslaved laborers, a legacy he carried throughout his life. Even as he ascended to political prominence, Jefferson depended on the system of slavery to maintain his estates and lifestyle. Yet Jefferson also wrestled, at least intellectually, with the morality of slavery. His notes and letters reveal moments of introspection, suggesting that he recognized the inherent injustice of it. However, when confronted with opportunities for abolition or reform, his actions often fell short. Complicating Jefferson's legacy further is his relationship with Sally Hemings, an enslaved woman at Monticello. Historical evidence strongly supports that Jefferson fathered several of Hemings' children. This relationship exists at the crossroads of power and exploitation, raising important questions about consent and dependency within a system where she was legally his property. Hemings' story is a stark reminder of the personal and moral compromises embedded in Jefferson's life. Jefferson's legacy is not easily reduced to either heroism or failure. His achievements, articulating the ideals of liberty, expanding the nation, and shaping foundational American principles, stand tall among the accomplishments of his era. Yet, his participation in and perpetuation of slavery remain an inescapable stain on that legacy. It is this duality that makes him such a compelling subject for historical analysis. In 2025, as we continue to wrestle with the enduring legacies of slavery and systemic inequality, Jefferson's contradictions challenge us to confront the complexities of history head-on. How should we, as a society, reconcile his monumental contributions to democracy with his deep complicity in a system of oppression? Should we regard Jefferson merely as a flawed man reflective of his time, or as a figure who failed to rise above its moral shortcomings? These are questions that force us to confront the uneasy intersections of idealism and reality, justice and privilege. Engaging with history means embracing its discomforts. Figures like Thomas Jefferson compel us to move beyond simplistic narratives of heroism or villainy, and instead grapple with the tangled web of human imperfection. His life challenges us to hold two seemingly contradictory truths in tension: that extraordinary greatness can coexist with profound moral failure. Jefferson's words, "All men are created equal," continue to inspire those fighting for freedom and equality around the globe. But to fully appreciate their power, we must not ignore the inequities Jefferson himself upheld. Comment below with your thoughts on Jefferson's legacy. How should history balance his contributions against his contradictions? Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating and complex figures.